Hello people, welcome to this video. Let's see the newest Pinnacle Studio 19 and everything you need to know to start straight away. Leave us comments to improve our language and our next video guides. Pinnacle Studio is used to create and produce your own videos. It is composed by three main different workspaces, all listed on top: Organize, Edit and Author. Organize collects all content. Edit is used to create and edit your project. Author to create disks and menus. The most important workspace is the Edit one. This is composed by three main blocks: the navigation panel on the left, used to import media, effects, text and features. The preview on the right, used to check how your project is going on. And at the bottom, the main timeline, where you work and create your project. To start from scratch, simply go to File and then to New, choosing between Movie and Disk. Before starting with your project, you need to import all the media files you need, like pictures, videos and sound. If your files are in your computer, simply click and drag them directly on the navigation panel. All files will be collected under the Collections tab. If you have to import from disks, webcams and devices, click on the Import button and browse for your files. Check all the files you want to import, helping yourself with Check and Uncheck All below. Then, just go to Start Import at the bottom. The navigation panel contains all Pinnacle Studio content and features, including your latest files imported. If you hover on navigation on the extreme left, you can check the full content list. Project Bins, in red, collects all files imported for the actual opened project. Library Media, in blue, collects all your public media files in your computer. Projects, in violet, collects all Pinnacle Studio projects and disks you have saved. Collections, in green, usually collects your latest files imported. Most important is the Content section, in yellow, that contains all the features of Pinnacle Studio, from effects to transitions and titles. The Organize workspace on top shows your whole navigation panel more in detail if you need. Once your files are imported in the navigation panel, you can add them in your timeline below. Select the file to check it through the preview on the right, using its player below in case of videos and sound files. Then, import your files, simply clicking and dragging them in the timeline. This is composed by different rows or audio-video tracks that collect your files, displayed as colored rectangles called clips. You have four different kinds of clips: picture clips with a thumbnail representing the image under a dark blue color, video clips with or without audio, with thumbnails and sound waveforms under a light blue color, audio clips in a dark yellow color and with their sound waveform shown, and text clips that represent text and titles with thumbnails in a green color. Each of these tracks can be managed independently. You can rename a track clicking on its name on the left. Then, more on the right, you have two important icons. Use the eye to hide the visible content of the track from the preview. Use the loudspeaker icon to mute all sound content instead. Plus, through the lock icon on the extreme left, you can also lock a track in order to protect it from any editing. Click again on the lock icon to unlock the track. If you right-click on a track, you can delete it, clicking on Delete Track, or add new tracks, going to Insert New Track if you need. It is very important to manage your timeline while you are working on it. You can zoom in and out around your pointer, holding Ctrl down and using your mouse wheel. To move vertically along the different tracks, hold Alt down and use your mouse wheel. The preview in the top right corner shows your video project exactly where the red playhead is placed on the timeline. You can fix the playhead clicking above the AV tracks. You can also drag it clicking and dragging, or using your mouse wheel. When you check your project, the preview is set in the timeline mode, showing your overall project with all its clips inside. The source mode is referred to the selected file in the navigation panel instead. In case you preview videos, you may need to wait that the rendering bar gets completed above the timeline. This is done to show your preview smooth and good. Let's see how to work with your clips. You can move any clip in time in the same or in a different AV track, simply dragging it. To stretch or shorten your clips in time, just click and drag from the inner edges of the clip, where your pointer becomes a white arrow directed externally from the clip. If the arrow is directed towards the clip, you will adjust the gap between such clip and the following one. You may not stretch too much audio and video clips, since these do end after a certain time. If you stretch too much, a red part may be added with the clip. This part is blank, it is silent and has black video frames in time. You can cut, copy, paste or delete a clip simply right-clicking on it. If you have a mistake, you can undo and redo using the arrows below File. To split a clip in two, fix the playhead on your clip and click on Split Clips above. The order of the AV tracks is very important. If you have clips on different AV tracks that overlap in time, the preview shows first all the content of the track that stays above the others. For example, if you want to place text on a video, the text must be on an AV track that stays above the track that contains the video. While building your project, always check the sound output with the dB meter in the bottom left corner. If this gets red, you may risk distortion and saturation. To adjust audio settings, simply click on the first icon on top. Each AV track will have its own dB meter to check their volume, but also two important knobs. The first one adjusts the overall track volume, measured in dB. The green one adjusts the volume of the selected clip inside the track, if it has audio. In Pinnacle Studio you can also add text, effects and transitions. To add text, simply click and drag a text template from the Titles section in the navigation panel. You can edit it simply double-clicking on the text clip and going to the text editor, changing text font, style, size and color. To add effects, simply open the Effect section. You can check the kind of effect through the preview on the right, as you do with files. To apply an effect, click and drag it in your interested clip. Help yourself with the colors. The blue effects can be applied on visible clips, so on pictures and videos. Whereas yellow effects are audio effects that can be applied on sound clips only. Clips with effects applied will show a pink line on top. Then you also have the transitions. These are used to make clips appear and disappear through special effects. If you hover on the top corners of the clips, you can click and drag to apply a fade transition with the duration you prefer. If you apply transitions on audio clips, this will affect the sound volume. If you don't like the simple fade in and fade out transitions, you can simply drag others from the navigation panel under Transitions section. You can also apply transitions between two clips, passing from the first clip to the following one. To do so, just apply a transition to a clip and put the two clips close enough. When your project is finished, save and export it. To save it, go to File and then to Save Movie As. This saves your project in a .axp format in order to open and edit it in the future. If you want to export your video instead, go to Export above the preview. Under Export Type, choose to export to your computer, to any device, or decide to burn a disk. Set Format and Settings under Settings. Check your video project from the preview and the final location more below. If you want to render just a part of your video project, just fix the orange markers below the timeline preview. Just what falls within the orange markers will be rendered. Finally, if you need to adjust the project settings, click on the second icon on the extreme left. Thanks for watching this video. Check out our guides in our channel to discover more.